Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I am joined today by FishTuber, Smelliest VTuber, the Fantastic, Zafriax on Discord
Yo,
here.
Mr. White. Mr. White, why am I in your stream, Mr.
Why
White?
why are you in my stream, Jesse? Switch over to here. Hello. There we go. Hi.
Hello, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. I
Yeah.
am accompanying the smelly tuber here. He's
Yes.
very smelly, guys.
No. No. It's lies. Slander.
It's not lies.
Yeah.
How would LeBron feel about this?
How would he feel?
Huh? How would this affect the Warzone 3 servers?
It's a good question. I don't know enough about Warzone to comment.
So yeah, he kind of just kidnapped me. I'm in a fishbowl right now. I'm just kind of forced to talk to him, but he's very awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Please stick around for him to, I don't know, slide around like butter in
Yeah,
castle.
that's probably what's gonna happen, honestly, based on last game. Uh,
What?
there we go. Oh, duh. I should probably center myself too. Oh, where's my? Okay, let me get myself in position first, and then I'll fix the Jump King. Oh,
Yep.
not what I wanted to do. There we go. Something like that. Uh, what happened? Oh, can't find the executable. Duh. Let's do that. There we go. There's our screen. All
There we
right.
go.
Let's get right into that. Gonna turn up the audio a little bit on just my end here. And all right, get to watch me fall continuously here, Zap.
Okay.
I think it's been
I'm
what,
very.
2 weeks or so since I played this game.
I'll give or take yes.
Yeah, I was about to say. Again, I know I've said this a million times, but I'm just glad to be out of that snowy area because I can't fall. I can't fall back down now.
You'll be watching. We watching. You go up.
Okay. Well, it'd be wild as if this was the playthrough where I actually like beat it. I I'm not keeping I'm not holding on out on hope for that, but that would be pretty cool.
I honestly think you're gonna genuinely tweak playing this game, man. Like that jump with the ice thingy with the slide, you have to like make a quick jump. It's insane though.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I that's one of my least favorite parts about doing this level is just having to do that like immediate jump. Let's see.
At least Half Life didn't have this parkour though. I genuinely
Did Half-Life
tweak
have any
if a
slippery
park.
surfaces on it like this where you had to
Yes, there is this level with like in the office complex. You go to the freezer section and stuff, and some floors are covered
Oh
in
no. Okay.
like slippery ice. And
Yeah.
if you're careless and stuff, you can just slide into a bull squid and it'll just whip you with its tail. I play on the hard difficulty, so like it does one shot me.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
You know what the bull squids are, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
those
yeah. I
tentacle
remember the
looking
bull
one.
squids. Yeah. I say.
You know the one that eats head crabs and like spits at you?
Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, I was about to say it's I remember like bits and pieces of the game. I don't remember everything in it. I guess that's a good sign that I really need to play it again, though.
Oh, you and I should play Portal. That'd be funny.
Ooh, yes. That's a collab idea.
You just have to be patient with me though. It's not like you have to like tell me how the controls are. I've beaten Half Life, not Portal One. It's
That's
more
fair.
like you just need to be patient with me when you're telling me to like set up a portal that will make you accelerate like 50 miles an hour into a wall that will get you a cube.
Right. Yeah. Oop.
I told you like you can tell me to walk forwards but I'll do anything
You'll do anything but that.
but walk forwards.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll figure it out together. I'll just say to walk backwards, so you'll walk the
If he
direction
gives-
I want.
The thing is that if you have someone that's a non-gamer, right? And if you give them Portal, like the first Portal game, would they figure that out? How to like play it and stuff? And there's a tutorial, right? Tells you to pick up a cube, move around, pick up object.
Sorry, like if you gave someone Portal 2, like would they figure it out? Or
No, if you give someone Portal 1, which is
Okay.
the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah.
To someone that doesn't play video games and they're like, figure it out, beat the
I think they'd be able to
level.
figure it out.
Would they able to figure that out? Yeah. Would it take longer for them to do it? Yeah.
It might take a little bit longer. Like, I'm trying to remember if Portal tells you to use WSAD to move, because some game tutorials will
Yes.
say WSAD.
Yes. Even Half-Life 2 actually mentioned that when you
Oh.
get out of the train
Oh,
with Gordon Freeman.
yeah. I was about to say, obviously people who have gaming experience probably don't need to be told to use WSAD. They'll probably that might be one of the first things they try. But yeah, I think as long as you tell people, like, okay, here's the buttons you use to kind of start moving around a little bit, then that should be fine. Also, I just realized no game audio is coming through. Let's go ahead and
Oh,
fix that.
There's no.
There
Check
we
your
go.
obvious order. Yeah. Sorry about that. I should have.
Oh, no, you are totally fine. That is on me.
Mr. Light.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes I know like Jump King integration into OBS is like a little finicky. So I think
You tell me that Zomboid crashes my OBS
does it actually?
every time I record it.
Oh my god.
Dead ass though, I could have a supercomputer. I think there's two things that could crash my computer: dividing by a zero in PyCharm, or like Zomboid on OBS.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Oh.
dividing
There we go.
by zero at least is an error, okay?
Yeah. So when you divide by 0 in PyCharm, do you actually get like a very specific exception that's like a divide by 0 exception?
Yeah, so it tells you the error division
Yeah.
by zero. But the first time I did it, actually did crash my PyCharm, so I wasn't even like trying to joke about it.
I like the idea of like, you know how that's probably coded up, right? Like, at least how I'm thinking. I think
No, I'm assuming that it has something to do with how computers would calculate binary calculations.
I mean, that's probably part of it, but what I'm oh, go ahead.
Like, forget the computer for a bit, right? Take a calculator. You know a calculator is just a computer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
a microprocessor and like RAM. Like, they calculate in binary. They just show you the answer
Yeah.
in like human decimal. Because are you gonna take 100 as like a binary? Heck no.
No, that's
Do it in
that's too
decimal.
much work.
So are we talking about? But we can't divide zero based on how the calculator. What is it? The principle of math? Because if you're talking about the principle of math, you know that you can't take away, let's say, 10 with 0.
Yeah.
That's just never gonna happen
Sure.
in this reality. It's the same thing with a computer. Like if a computer is a calculator, right?
Yeah. So what I'm
You can tell it to 10 minus 2 is gonna be 8.
yeah.
What are you trying to cook? Tell me, what are you?
Yeah.
You're
So
training
where
up this
I'm going with this, fuck, if I can stop myself from falling. Where I'm going with this is because PyCharm specifically is giving you an error that says, "Oh, you tried divide by 0. I'm gonna fuck everything up now." The reason why it's doing that is because whenever you do a division in PyCharm is actually going to check to see whether or not your denominator is 0. And if it is, it's going to throw that error at you. I don't think it actually ever performs the division. I think it stops itself just before it performs it.
So it doesn't work like
Basically,
calculator,
it's...
like any other computer out there.
I'm sorry, one more time.
So like, so it checks for. I mean, every whole number, let's say fraction, like 14. 14 is just 14 over 1,
Sure.
right? But
Yeah.
if that 1 is 0, then PyCharm will check it. Is what you're trying to say.
Basically, if there is a division
Right.
happening, then before it actually does the division, it's going to check to see if your denominator is 0. And if it is 0, it's not even going to bother doing the calculation because it knows you messed up somewhere.
You know, you could take a Soviet calculator, like a Soviet air calculator. It'll actually attempt. It's not even gonna give you a straight up there. It'll actually attempt to divide by 0.
Wait, will it actually? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it does. That it takes like a minute for it to try to do. That's fucking awesome, though.
It takes What do you think? Oh, do you think it's doing that repeated like subtraction to try and like solve it then? And it's like we're not getting anywhere with this.
I mean, isn't division just repeated subtraction? You agree, right? I'd agree.
I agree, and now that I'm kind of having this conversation with you, I'm guessing that's probably what PyCharm is actually doing under the hood. Is it's probably like...
That'd be inefficient. You think that'd be inefficient, though?
Maybe a little.
The way I see PyCharm, it's kind of... So, I assume that we installed Python. Let's say Python's the license, right?
Yeah,
the coding license. And then PyCharm is your car, right? I was thinking like, you know how you want your car to run efficiently in operation?
Yeah.
I know, I'm cooking, I know.
Okay.
But like, the thing is that when you just program PyCharm to just, like you said, if it checks for that thing, it's more efficient to do that than repeated addition or subtraction. What's your take on it though? Because that's the way I see it. You just code your program just to not give you an answer and divide it by 0.
Right. I mean, I'm actually not sure exactly what PyCharm is doing to do the division. I assume there's probably like certain algorithms out there for doing the division. Because, I mean, like, once you get to the point where you're dealing with floating points, like, you have to be able to continue that division to whatever, like, precision you're going for.
I just learned how to do for loops and like ranges and stuff. I learned how to like make a list of odd numbers.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for one day that you will introduce a function with like range brackets odd numbers. You don't even have to type up the code.
Yeah.
It's funny because Python users, they'll do something and then it's like Python knows what the users are doing, so they just make like a front end code that works.
Yep.
You know you can number the list in Python, right?
Yeah.
Like numbering like a variable.
Yep.
With lists, they literally have enumerate built in.
Yeah. Python has a lot of really good like quality of life type things in it, and kind of to your point, right? It's one of the it will do some things occasionally where it's like I think the user meant to do this, and it'll just do it. Especially if like you're talking about type conversions. Like you can like bounce back and forth between like strings and numbers and stuff like that. Python's pretty resilient in that regard. Oh.
Our professor for Python is okay. He's pretty like low energy though, but he's pretty friendly.
Yeah.
I did learn how to like write my variables and stuff. I didn't know in coding you guys do like camel style variable names and shit. I've been naming my shit like
camel style
like C. Like you know how you you probably did C+, right? C++?
Yeah, I did a C++ course.
You know how you name your variables? There's like a naming convention, like a naming standard, so that
yes.
the people reading your code isn't like gonna have like a headache.
Yep.
Kind of like that in Python. Also, some keywords, like you know how just print, if else, you don't use them as variables because they're reserved for Python.
Correct.
So you can't have a print variable, but like print equals to like hi.
Yeah.
You can just do message equals hi.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting with I think I told you before, like I do a lot of coding in Perl.
Perl uses C++, right?
No, Perl's an interpreted language. I think
like
it's
Python?
Yeah, just like Python.
You're right. You told me about this. I should have.
Yeah, but the thing with Perl is that when you define a variable, you actually put a funky symbol in front of it. So with something like Python, you would have like var equals like 1, but for Perl, you would have something like var dot with a $sign in front of it equals 1. And that $sign is actually what tells the interpreter, hey, this is a variable, treat it as a variable.
But Python just knows, right?
Correct. Yeah. As long as var isn't something that Python like is going to try and use as like a procedure or anything, as long as it's not reserved, then yeah, var is perfectly fair game.
That's actually pretty cool though. I had to get familiar with. I feel like if I learned Python enough to be like a semi-skilled confident user, I'd be. Like, I think I want to learn Java, actually, so that's also kind of used in networking.
If you learn Python and Java, I think you can learn pretty much any language you want.
It'll just be different formats. That's fine.
It's just pull up a user guide on, like, syntax and shit. Like, every language is going to have different ways of doing arrays. They're going to have different ways of doing if loops, for loops, while loops.
Yeah, that's what in Java. So like they have like the if-else statement, like the loop stuff, right?
Yeah.
In Python, it'd be like they do have an if-else too, but you can do for loops like that, and then you know how they teach you like where you can print stuff in Python, right? I know that's really stupid to ask, right?
Yeah, you can print stuff in Python.
And then you can print out a variable, right? Let's say your variable is a lowercase. So message equals hi with a lowercase. I'll type it in chat too. So something like this, right?
Yep.
If you print that in Python, it'll be like this. But what I'm trying to say is that you can do something like... I'm trying to remember. I think something like this. Yeah. And they'll print that in like with a capital H.
Yes, that's right. Because the title, so that's a string procedure.
Yeah. I joined in the good timing for Python because they did had like, so that was kind of like the hurdles back then. You know how you trying to print a message with a variable, you had to like do some prefix shit. Now they just do an F string.
Yeah.
Like they have a built-in F string. It's so cool. And my professor was like yapping about it. I was like, yeah, I feel your energy, dude. I joined in the golden age of Python.
Yeah. I was about to say, because I think there's other procedures, like there's an uppercase, there's a lowercase.
Lowercase, or like append, pop.
Yeah.
It's so cool though. That's the first time I like kind of click with Python. It's like it's like if English was a robot that you tell it to do.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Back up to the tower.
Like that's what I like about Python though. It's like, again, it's like a robot, but it speaks English and it takes commands in English.
Yeah.
And then it's like a screen in the middle and a keyboard in it. You can tell what the robot to do.
Right.
If you wanted to print hi with a dot title, it'll do that.
Yeah.
With Java though, I honestly feel like it's like coding like a... I don't know how you... Can you describe coding in like in Perl, but like in a non-coding perspective, if that's possible? Like, you know how I describe Python like a robot, like a machine that takes English inputs?
Yeah. It's... I'm trying to think of a good way. So the thing with Python is that Python has a lot of its focus on white space and how certain things are formatted with regards to like kind of tabbing over. And the reason for that is because you're not using things like curly braces or parentheses to show the start and end of loops. So
no, we just start. We do use semicolons in loops and stuff, and we use a lot of like bracket.
Yeah.
It's like the curly brackets for like I'm trying to remember. But again, but continue though.
Yeah. So when you're dealing with the programming language, and I actually spent a portion of one of my intro to software engineering classes going over this. I can actually turn down the audio slightly. Yeah. So, when you're compiling a language and turning it into machine code, you need to be able to recognize not only whether you've hit variable names or whether you've hit like reserved keywords. You also need to be able to recognize things like curly braces or parentheses. You need to be able to recognize like when you've entered a loop, when you've exited a loop, how to know when you go back into that loop, and that kind of
Python
thing.
does that for me though. Like when
Yeah.
I'm doing for loops, like stuff, it starts to indent.
Yes, but
And as long as you stay in that indent though, it's
Yeah.
like it just lets you do whatever you want.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is that when when you start running a Python script, when the interpreter is looking for those indents in order to know whether or not you're in a loop. So those indents, that white space, is the keyword that it's looking at. So
The crash course book that I have actually does explain what you just said, which is pretty cool. That's why I was able to follow along.
yeah,
White space is that base that it's like spacing that the code can see. I know that you can't see it with the normal eye, but the Python can see white space. It'll tell you.
you can
Like
see white.
Python will just tell.
You should be able to see white space with your normal eye. 'Cause whether or not it's significant might be a different story. Like with Python, that's the only way it can recognize whether or not you're in a loop.
So let's say if Taylor Swift was schooling, that's fine.
Hey, okay.
Let's say if her message variable is high like this,
Yeah.
with an extra white
With extra,
space,
yeah.
right? That's like 15 white space.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
she could do, she could do this, like she can do L strip. They'll get rid of like the left white space.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And if the white space is on the right, like excessive white space, she can do R strip.
Yeah. It'll just take out whatever white space is after that.
Also, recently they also have like this. So let's say if the web understands URL. I'm not posting an actual URL though, so that's for Python lessons. So like this. Oh, sorry. I want a better example.
Yeah.
Guys, don't click the link. 'Cause I know it's just Google, the Kindling Google, right? Let's say your professor's like, I want the www. What I learned is that you can print web /URL and then dot remove prefix. They just came into Python recently actually. And then inside of that prefix you do this semicolon, next semicolon, the apostrophe, dot, and then this. If you do this right, when you print it, it'll just show Google.ca.
Oh, that's
I know.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
They added that when I joined Python, which is fucking funny because that's one of the questions asked in the book. It's like, can you remove the prefix www?
Yeah. In Perl, you could use regular expressions for that. You could just be like, if you find the www, just remove it.
Like an if-else statement?
So I'd probably do something like web URL equals www.google.com, and then like how would I go about doing that? Web URL.
You probably done this at work, did you?
Something like
Removing
that.
prefixes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is actually why I really like Perl a lot, because this regular expression here will basically return to you the value of web URL after having completed this substitution. So the syntax here is S means we're going to substitute something. The first slash is like, here's the start of the pattern we're going to look for, and in this case it's www period. And then the second slash is, okay, here's what we're going to replace it with. But because I put a slash immediately after that, we're saying replace it with nothing. So it's just going to look for www. If it finds it, it's just going to get rid of it. Yeah. Regular expressions was like the third thing I learned when I started my internship. First one was Linux, second thing was Perl, and third was regular expressions.
It's pretty cool.
Oh. I can't be that far away. Oh.
What, in jumping? It should be pretty close.
Well.
And I know in networking, I'm actually doing a customer support, like IT course, like help desk stuff. They tell you like, hey, you know, like if you work IT, you need to be patient with people because they not be picky as you.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a customer-facing job, so you're definitely going to be...
God, like, that's the problem though. I was thinking like, I could be woken up at like 2 a.m. Someone will call me, be like, hey, the servers are down. Can you like, remote in, please?
Yeah.
Like, you had to do that outside of your... I mean, it probably gets logged though. That's fine. Because as long that the work can know what I did, that's fine. But that's what I fear about like getting into workplaces that I'll do something off hours and then like I get blamed for not doing anything even though I did it. It's in the...
Yeah.
It's true that work logs stuff, right? They don't just like let it go under the table. Like,
I mean,
your workplace.
So my thought process is, there definitely needs to be a little bit of like cover your ass, like make sure that like you have like a record of you doing certain things, like maybe even like going a step further or going a little bit backwards for a second. It's important that whatever role you find kind of has a little bit of the culture that is conducive, I think, to treating their employees like reasonably, right? Like, if the expectation is that you're going to be on call 24/7, then like they should be giving you a pay that reflects that, right? If the expectation is you're working 40 hours a week with occasionally something like being on call, then they should have a way of like of you being able to be like, hey, I worked outside of my allocated 40 hours, I deserve overtime pay. So it's like, because other than, if that's not the case, then there's a real chance that they could be like exploiting their employees a little bit. But it's all based on like whatever contracts you sign and whatever your job description looks like.
That I will worry about it soon.
Yeah.
Let's not continue. It's like... Also, I did joke about me butting heads with HR, but like, they'll do everything to get rid of me, but they can't because I need it. That's something that I do well.
Yeah, just become too valuable to get rid of. That's a winning strategy.
Hey, they could replace AI with me, but I can just unplug their robot
That's
in front
true.
of me, be like... That's what I'm thinking. It's that rather than knowing how to just set up a network and stuff, I figured... Because my mindset right now, I think a really good professor told me this, is that you don't let computers do your job.
Yep.
You do jobs in a way that computers and AI will be your companion.
Yeah.
You said that basic coding will be overtaken by AI. If that's the case, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, writing programs, I think, is like, we're starting to get to the point where AI can write incredibly simple programs, and honestly, like, I don't know, this is definitely going to be a controversial take. I think that's fine. I think the value that people bring to something like that is, how do you leverage the code you're writing to solve like a real world problem, right? Because it's like, you can't tell an AI, go write me a piece of software that's going to make my company a lot of money. But you can say, hey, AI, write me like a code that solves this one small problem, and then use it to like set the foundation to solve a bigger problem, essentially, right? Like, I feel like there's always going to be a little bit of a need for a human element to that, like for you to be able to advocate for why certain pieces of code are needed, or why we would want to solve a problem in this kind of way. Anyone who thinks they can replace like a full staff of like software engineers with AI is fooling themselves. Not to mention the fact that AI occasionally gets it wrong.
Of course. Also, the thing with AI is that, I know I keep yapping about this, but I prefer it to be a companion technology rather just like if overtaking human work.
Yeah, like you don't want to see like
cool.
AI be treated like as an equal to a human. Right.
I know, I know there's gonna be a problem in my lifetime when robots become autonomous, and we'll be debating within our race and be like, robots have feelings too and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a machine though.
Yeah.
Like, has anyone felt bad for you know how in automobile factories they have those robot arms and shit? You ever heard stories of technicians feeling bad that the machine broke down? Heck no. They want that machine to work 24/7.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
Yep.
And you'll say, but they'll get human rights too and stuff. And like, it's a machine though.
I guarantee you there's people who have felt bad for those machines at some point. I think enough time has passed.
Like, you remember the one with Will Smith, the movie, the robot shit, the iRobot?
iRobot, yeah. Good movie.
It's like, if that comes to the case, I'll probably be open to like autonomous robots, but there needs to be laws
Yeah.
that determines like robots aren't humans though.
Shoot. Yeah.
Like,
No,
are
they're
you gonna
not.
feel bad for? Like, there's no moral guilt, right? It's machine. You tell it what to do.
Yeah.
If you tell it to be autonomous, that's literally just a computer.
Yeah. Do you think the discovery...
Like, you're confident too, right? You're not gonna feel bad.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, do you think the discovery of something like... What are they calling it now? AGI? Artificial General Intelligence, I think is the new term now. Because what we
So
use
you
as
said
AI
AGI.
really is just very sophisticated pattern matching, right? Like, it's not like we're actually giving computers the capacity to, like, think and feel. It's just pattern matching. But the idea is, like, what we're actually talking about when we say, like, AI in the way that, like, robots work is closer to, like, artificial general intelligence. AGI. So it's like, if robots get to a point where they can actually think or feel, does that change the conversation?
I concur with that actually.
I don't know. I don't think there's
I'm not-
I don't think there's really a right answer to that. I also think we're probably still a little far away from getting to the point where we'd actually see that.
Back in my day, my phone was powered by silicon software. Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to your quantum computer bed.
Yeah. Your quantum... think he sleeps in a quantum computer.
When we were talking about this last time, like technologies that you'll see in your deathbed in your lifetime,
Yeah.
like quantum computer.
We're definitely going to see more widespread quantum computers. Definitely that. I don't think we'll see...
You think, you know how, I know this sounds really childish, so, you know toys, right? Like
Yeah.
teddy bears,
Big fan of toys. Yep.
Barbies.
Oh, I did.
I'm also ever gonna be a Batman. Like, you ever felt like smartphones and stuff and iPads and shit had replaced toys? This is more like depending on the parents that trying to keep this thing alive. Like the spirit of like physical, non-digital human interaction. You know how nannies and moms and dads would just give little Tibby like cocoa melons on the iPad?
Yeah. Oh,
Because I grew up, I don't know, playing gun games with sticks and water guns.
yeah.
What's your take on it though?
I think a lot of parents are choosing to move over to, like, digital devices just because it's easier and it's more accessible.
There's studies though that being as a child and you're exposed to like repetitive online content will actually reduce your intelligence.
I definitely believe that as well. I think...
It's not even out of hate of technology though, because it's like, I'm not saying that we should keep kids out of technology, because that's just, first of all, mean.
Yeah.
Second, they're gonna grow up to hear it,
Yeah.
learn it, how to use it. It's more like we need to like tell ourselves, be like, okay, I want my child to at least grow up like without the gadgets first, right?
Yeah.
They need to learn how to like do stuff without computers just of yet.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep. There's a balance to be had, right? Because on one hand, you're exactly right. Like, you want to be able to give kids things that are actually going to like stimulate them and make them like develop kind of certain skills and certain problem solving capabilities that mindless time on computers are definitely not going to help them with. When I think back to like when I was a kid, the big thing that wasn't really, it definitely wasn't smartphones or shit, right? I mean, like, I was born in, I'm 30 years old now. I was born in the early 90s. So it's like, for me, when I was a kid growing up, it was Nintendo 64. Like, that, it was that, or it was like Super
But you weren't
Nintendo.
given to it as a toddler, though.
Not
You
as a
had it at, like,
toddler,
10.
no.
Like, the argument that I propose is
Yeah, so you're talking about more
that
like actually
toddlers are
like
exposed to
toddlers.
this. And then
Yeah,
they don't, yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
emotionally, they're more unstable. Because when I grew up as a baby, right? I mean, I did cry, obviously. That's just human babies are. But, like, because, I was given, like, toys and stuff when I wasn't on any technology. I mean, the only technology that I would consider is just staring at the TV outside inside of my baby cage, but I didn't understand English at the time, so it's like, I need milky, please.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I do think a balance is like ideal because okay, if you're talking about toddlers, then sure, maybe the balance, you don't have to have as much of a balance. You just want to make sure that whatever they have like is developmentally good for them. I think I'm kind of more thinking about once they get to the point where they're actually like socializing with people their age. I don't think it's wise for your kid to be like left out in that regard. Like, I think your kid needs to be like at least a little bit like with the times in general, because like if you don't provide it to them, they're gonna get that stimulus from somewhere else, right? They're gonna get it by going to a friend's house or something like that.
I feel like what I learned, at least growing up when my parents teaching me, is that I feel like being told that you can't do this because I told you so, or just like being like direct things of being told you. I just feel like explaining, even if my kid is like 6 years old and they don't understand complex sentences, right? At least you tell them in the way they can understand instead of just telling them no.
Yeah.
I want my kid to be reasonable. I also obviously want to be reasonable.
Yeah.
You probably feel the same way.
If you tell a kid like you can't do this because I said so, and you give them no other explanation, they're not gonna understand. They're just gonna resent you because you're not giving them the thing they want. Like, they might still.
No, I will give my kids what they want. It's more like there's times and circumstances where you can't because let's say money, time, prioritizing your needs. Like when I'm proposing is that at least be open.
Yes. Talk to your kid.
And even if they're upset with you, at least you give.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to your kid. Like, if what they're proposing isn't reasonable, tell them why it's not reasonable. Like, they may not understand, but it's like shutting down any sort of conversation like that is only going to teach them that they can't actually go to you to like get the questions answered that they have answered.
Like, as someone who's gonna be a parent in like 20 years lifetime or something ahead of me, if I can't reason with them because they're young, I was like that, and sometimes I'm still like that. Like, so I understand the point. It's just that I don't want them to go through what I did with me with my parents. It's like just being sucking up the no part.
Yeah. Yep.
But hey, we're turning this into a coding parenting stream. What else can we talk about?
Oh, there's millions of subjects we could talk about.
Food. What you had for dinner? It's like you didn't have Taco Wednesday, did you?
I did not have Taco Wednesday. It's funny. We had a Cinco de Mayo party on Sunday, so I ordered a bunch of supplies to make tacos. We still have a handful of them sitting in the fridge right now, so I'll probably have tacos later in the week again. But today for dinner I had meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and roasted broccoli. It's very good.
Oh, nice. Leftover food saves a lot of money, though.
It does.
eating out has become a luxury, even if you have a stable job and like living with someone to share the expenses with. It's like
Yeah.
I've actually heard of an argument recently that groceries are also expensive too, because quote unquote you need to pay rent and stuff. I'm like, but that's different though. You're paying to live in a house.
Yeah.
It's like for them it's okay to buy like eat out, but they aren't okay paying rent. I'm like, I'm not sure how you're gonna live in modern society.
That's those priorities are a bit skewed there.
Like, there's a reason why you pay rent, so you could legally live in a place. You're not ending up on the street, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like a one-time thing. You pay it monthly, unless you buy a house, but that's another topic. But anyway, so yeah, that was a really stupid argument. I'd still tell them, like, it's cheaper to cook.
It 100%
Meal
is
plan.
cheaper to cook. Like, I'll say this, right? Groceries are getting more expensive. I keep joking with my wife. Inflation comes for us all. Like, it's gonna keep going up. The prices of things.
Like, the thing with inflation is that I'm not scared of it. I learned what it is. It's like price increases because of less supply, more demand, or price decreases because nobody's buying it, but there's a surplus. I just learned that in business class today.
Yeah.
That's just how our market works, right?
Yeah. Now, the thing is, you definitely, and I mean, kind of coming back to the conversation about, like, look for the type of jobs that, like, have the culture that, like, supports you and stuff like that. You want to make sure, like, you end up in a role that's actually going to keep up with inflation as well. Like, if you enter a job that doesn't give you a raise for 5 years, you are going to be making less money in the, like, 5 years later than when you started, purely because inflation will have, like, it will have advanced.
You get a pay raise not just because of your performance and everything, but inflation has to be adjusted. You're not gonna survive on, like, let's say if you're being paid 50k USD a year, right, after taxes and shit. If that stayed like that for 5 years, you are gonna fall behind.
Yes.
And the dollar's gonna change. You'll say, "Oh, the US dollar is pretty strong." The heck no, it's fluctuating, man.
It's gonna change. Yeah. So, but there are a ton of jobs out there that just will not give you raises for several years, and it's like
argue with HR though.
That's the thing, though, is that you've got to, like, and that kind of comes back to this whole idea of, like, self-advocacy, where it's like, if you're not being paid in such a way that supports what you're doing for the job, like, let me put it like this. In 5 years, ideally, your responsibilities will have increased, right? You will have learned to do more.
You're a senior worker at that point.
Exactly. You will have learned to do more at your job. You're probably... Ideally, you become a person that people can rely on and go to for assistance. Like, your responsibilities will have gotten bigger. Your pay should match that change in responsibilities.
But HR is gonna be like, no, your contract stipulated that we give you a raise based on performance and shit. I'm like, if you go 5 years without being a headache to the community, I hate when workers say community or family. Forget that, man. But that's not the point. It's more like, why is it hard for companies to just provide adequate pay? Like in an office setting, right? Is it more like I know they're trying to make money and they're using that money to pay. But if you're working for like Microsoft and shit and you work really well, why is it they're adamant? Is it because like you might have influence, like a really strong thing to change the company and stuff? It's that what? Try to help me out with here.
So, I mean, I'll say this, right, and it's absolutely going to differ from company to company. It is always in the company's best interests to pay you as little as they can. And that's not a dig at you. That's a dig at the fact that you're not the only one. That's a sign that you're not the only one.
No, I'm
not
asking to be paid like X for every end of the week. Because that's not how a business works. They'd be running out of money paying me.
Right.
Then I don't have a job. And 100 people won't have a job. It's more like you said, oh, I say within 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm loyal to the company. I'm always there. Even if my off times. Why is it they're so adamant about paying me more?
Why is it they're... Sorry, I don't think I'm following the question now.
Like You go back to what you said to me, right? Paying you little as possible.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, it's not because they hate you.
That's just because they've got a lot of people on the payroll and they're trying to balance the budget. But at the same time, there's a couple components, right? One is how much money are they making year over year, and how much are they gaining each year, right? If it's a successful company, ideally, they're bringing in more money each subsequent year than they did previously. But I think there's also a component of, like, depending on what the employees are actually doing, there's probably some expectation of there's a lot of job growth that can be done, right? If you're working like a retail job, right? What are your
No,
jobs?
that reflects it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about your job in my future.
So my job, I was really lucky that
The one
my
that actually
role,
went through.
and I think my role is pretty commonplace with a lot of other kind of tech type roles, in that my company does give annual raises, in that my pay gets adjusted every year, specifically primarily to keep up with inflation, but also as a reflection of, like, my performance over the past year.
So that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate, right? I mean, that puts the ball kind of a little bit in the company's court as well, to kind of be like, you still should be advocating for yourself, especially if you're not, like, growing as fast as you thought you would. But I don't know, I don't think it's a bad thing that, like, companies are trying to, like, keep up with inflation at least a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that should be my workplace, my future workplace should be. It's more like I want to get not only just the respect. It's, oh man, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to have a job and, like, have a diploma that tells me I finished school, but I don't find a job. It's like, I want to make it worthwhile. You know how there's a lot of, like, influencers on social media telling you that you're a slave if you work 9 to 5?
Yeah.
That's what annoys me. It's like, okay,
It's
not everybody's a boxer that can smoke Cuban cigars. I know who I'm referring to. You know who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, that's just the reality of it. If everybody was an influencer, there'd be no infrastructure and medical services. There'd be no infrastructure in the internet. There's no food chains.
Yeah.
Because of, like, the yapping. It's like, if everybody was an influencer, then the world wouldn't function.
Yeah. I don't think you should be made to feel bad for craving stability in your job, right? Some people are perfectly fine with a 9 to 5 in which they only work those hours and then they go home and can do whatever the hell else they want. Like, because once you start getting into the territory of... Here's the thing. Once you start getting into the territory of, let's say, startups or, like, freelance work or contract work, technically that's the point at which you can start making your own hours. You get a lot more freedom, but there's also a ton of just unknowns that you have to account for, right? If you work in a 9 to 5, you're probably going to be making consistently the same amount of money year over year. What happens if you have a contract role where you make 50% of what you earned the previous year? That's off. That sucks. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big question mark that you have to kind of figure out. Like, can you pay your rent? Like, can you afford groceries? Like, do you need to take on a second job in order to supplement that loss of income? So
exactly,
and that's the
what I'm
types,
saying.
and that's the types of things that, like, even big streamers will go through from time to time. Like, they might not be necessarily on, like, the brink of financial ruin or homelessness, but they can definitely have, like, paychecks or, like, annual incomes that fluctuate wildly from year over year, because that's the nature of the job. So,
I like stability. Work stability doesn't make you a slave.
no, it doesn't.
A lot of people, they picture office workers, maybe like you and future me, would be like going to 9 to 5 complaining about how HR wants to get me fired or some stuff like that. Everybody's
Yeah.
different, first of all.
Yeah.
They might have HR departments that are actually super wonderful, and they're just doing their jobs just to make sure the company stay afloat.
Yeah.
Or maybe not though, but that's fine. I did say that it's different. What I
Yeah.
hate about people when they see a 9 to 5 job. It is like, oh my god, you don't have the freedom and stuff. That's called negotiating with your work.
Yeah, it's
Like,
yeah,
you not only you can prove that you can work in the company, but you also gotta. I think honestly, these days it's more acceptable to see people in the workplace as humans. You get what I'm saying, right?
yeah,
Like we aren't robots that can work like 9 to 5 like every day. Like there's the emotional, social part of it. You socialize in work. You tell them how you feel, and
Yeah.
usually like in recent times it's been more understanding. My dad and mom did not had those.
yeah. Depending on what companies you work for, some of them will also have like resources to help employees out in any number of like issues they're facing, right? My company has a gym. Like that's where I was working out earlier when I was telling you that.
Oh, nice.
But my company also has things like mental health resources. They have occasionally like talks and like virtual like meetings where you can go in and like learn tips to help like deal with stresses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or they have like financial planning seminars and stuff. Like that's a perk of like my company, and I'm sure a handful of other companies like mine probably have something similar in place as well.
Because I know, because like the way that my professors explain workplaces is that you had to be professional, you had to be like, you know, your stuff together. It's
A little bit, but I think it's
like
we're
that's fine. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's being professional. Being professional is fine. Yeah. Sorry.
Glad that your workplace sounds like the Google headquarters with that stuff, honestly. You know Google's HQ has like a restaurant, a slide,
Oh yeah. Yep.
like a slide, and like, damn, even their own coffee brand too.
Oh, I didn't know about
Like
the
it-
coffee brand. That's awesome. I was about to say,
Yeah. Like inside of this thing.
I think I've been to the Google HQ like once or twice, if I remember. Because I had like a
You
friend. I had a
I think
friend.
the people they hire at Google are like people out of Ivy Leagues. Do you think that's true? Can you get into Google just knowing what, like, you assume that you know all the coding languages and you're confident, right?
Yep.
Would they hire based on like degrees in like Ivy Leagues, or can you prove it to the employer
So I'll let you in on a
or
little
a
secret.
recruiter? Be like, hey, I got this.
I'll let you in on a little secret. Once you've been working at a company out of college long enough, no one's gonna look at your college past that point. It might be like a little bit of a talking point,
You're
but
only
it's no longer gonna be the thing that actually like gets your foot in the door. But to your point, right? Like, I think we talked about this previously, right? What something like an Ivy League school really does is it gets you this like little bit of, what's the word I want to use? Not notability, but oh fuck, I can't think of the word. The word escapes me. Was it
Take your time.
was it P word?
Perseverance. No.
No, it's people recognize the name.
So,
Right, like people.
so if I work at an Amazon, right?
Yeah.
For 5 years, and then Google's like, and I go on LinkedIn, said looking for a job, and Google reach out to me. Did they look more for my work experience rather than what college or Ivy League I went to?
Yes.
So you're correct then, right?
Yeah, they will care more about your. If you've been, so I will say this: if you've been out of school for only 2 years working this role, and you're looking to switch to another role, which I live in Bay Area, that's a thing we see all the time, right? People job hop constantly.
That's fine.
If you
That's
do that,
normal
then
now.
sure, maybe they'll kind of like look back and pull in, because maybe in those 2 years you've gotten a decent amount of work done, but maybe it's not enough for them to have the full story. So then they'll be like, okay, well, what's your college experience like? What classes did you take? Like, what did you study? That type of thing. So in that case, I could see there being like a little bit more focus, but I'll be perfectly honest, I've been out of college now like almost 10 years. I would be very surprised if I interviewed for a company and they like really wanted to understand what I did for my senior design project. Like, I
Like, who's gonna care though?
yeah, like there's like I won't go too much into detail about it, but it's like I've written a technical paper at this point. They're probably gonna ask me more about that than what I did for like a college project. Let's see.
And I think given how I talk to people and stuff, I think I'd fit in a normal 9 to 5. And maybe I'll just like try to make it more lively.
Yeah.
Like I'm open to people. They don't have to play video games to be friends with me, obviously. I'm more open. That's what I've been doing. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's a good thing.
I think it's good as long as if you're going into it with like an open mind and just like you're willing to be civil and like chat with people, I think people appreciate that. I was about to say, and you don't necessarily have to be like super close friends with your coworkers, but there's definitely a good balance there, right? Like I don't really talk to my coworkers too much about all the things I do outside of work. Like they're aware that like I go to concerts. They're aware that I make music. I think I told one or two about the fact that I started streaming on Twitch, but I didn't tell them about VTubing or anything. I don't know. I don't think any of them started watching me as far as I know. But, like, it's also, like, I don't feel like I have to hide it. If they ask about it, I'll probably be like, yeah, you know, I do this occasionally. Yeah. I will say, I kind of, going back to what you were saying about how, like, we're kind of taught that once you enter the workforce, you have to be, like, this really kind of, like, uptight, professional idea. It's like, I don't think that's really the case. I definitely think there's like certain kind of like politeness things that you do in general. Like, how do I want to put it? When I first started working at my company, I spent so much time just kind of listening to like what people in authority were saying, you know? Like, because part of adjusting to a role isn't learning the technical aspects, it's learning the culture as well, right? Learning who's in charge, who are the ones responsible for making the big decisions. Because if you are trying to help your team make a big decision, you want or you're trying to help your team to like convince another team to do something, you want the other team to like want to hear what you have to say, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want them to think like, this guy, like, or whatever. Like you want them to be like, well, at least it sounds like they know what they're talking about, or it's at least it sounds like what they're saying is something worth listening into. And sometimes that's an uphill battle. And you kind of have to pick and choose your battles a little bit. Or you have to, like, have people on your side that can do the pushing when you can't, which is the type of thing that I constantly have to have help with. I don't like pushing, honestly. I'm just like, if someone tells me I can't do something, then my immediate thought is like, okay, well then, how do I solve the problem when that's not an option? But I'm now starting to get to the point where more and more it's like, I have members of my team that are like, no, we really should be pushing for this. So they're the ones who will push for it. It's a good skill to develop, though. It's something that I should definitely be working on. Where was I going with this? I just went on a really long tangent.
No, you were...
You don't have to be uptight and professional about everything. Like, you can... The first few years I was employed, I think probably like the first 4 or 5 years I was employed, I didn't socialize too much with coworkers. Part of it was because they were all older than me and I felt like I couldn't really relate to a lot of them. As we started hiring on younger and younger people, I did feel like it got a bit easier, but I also just felt myself kind of opening up more. Like, I don't know. I cracked jokes a little bit more. I pointed out, like, the absurdities in some of the things we were doing. Like, and sometimes I would talk and I would hear them, like, chuckle in response, you know? Like, it's a little disarming. It's, like, a little bit of a moment where it's like, okay, we're on the same page here, you know? I think I like to think, at least, the people I talk to who encounter that, like, appreciate that a little bit. Because I think then it's no longer a matter of we're here to just get a job done. It's like we're two people here that are like sharing this experience, you know? I think that's helped me out at least a little bit, and how I've talked to my coworkers over the past few years.
I don't know. With networking, I can do whatever I want. I can work for the company I'm using their company. I can work for Cisco.
Yeah.
But I think my value lies working within a mom and pop shop.
Yep.
If I don't end up in being in like networking, I'll at least be able to like repair computers, phones, and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. If I enjoy doing that, then and a stable income and happy like pretty good hours, then heck yeah.
Yeah. If it gets you the income you need to finance your lifestyle and you're perfectly happy with it, then absolutely go for it.
I could be the one working at your workplace repairing IT. You never know that.
Yeah, you could. That'd be awesome.
The world is like an oyster.
Yeah.
A fishbowl. Or...
The world is like a fishbowl.
Yeah. Did I ask you what foods you don't like?
What don't I like?
What don't you like? I told you what I don't like, right? Like raw cheese, raw fruit, 90% raw fruits,
Yeah.
peppers.
I think I told you the other day, specifically vegetables I didn't like. I don't like beets. Not a big fan of beets.
Oh yeah, beets. What is that other group of
Let's
food
see,
that
what
you
don't I like?
haven't told people that you kept to yourself?
I'm not gonna... Most is not correct. I'm gonna say roughly 40 to 50% of cheese I don't like. Probably.
You don't like garden. You don't like raw cheese? Do you like to cook like a pasta?
It's a mix. So, I don't like Velveeta, which is kind of like... I like a little bit of a fake cheese anyway. I'm very picky about American cheese. Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it doesn't.
You mean that American slice stuff that doesn't melt?
Yeah, the processed stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't mind it if I go out to a restaurant and it's on a burger, but sometimes it just doesn't hit right.
No, I'd pay extra $1 to get real cheese though. That's what most of my restaurants...
Oh yeah, like I'd much prefer like, oh my god, a slice of cheddar on a burger? That's like amazing.
What about blue cheese? It's like really pungent cheese.
Blue cheese I'm not a big fan of. I think, I've tried blue cheese like once, and it was like, that was good enough. It's like, that's a little bit too much for me. I don't like the top 3 cheeses I don't like. Breaking news here, in my bottom 3 cheeses
Oh my
list.
god, Breaking Bad reference.
My bottom 3 cheeses are Gorgonzola, Assaggio. Is that right? No, Asiago. Asiago, and Feta. Those are my bottom 3 cheeses.
Really? You don't like feta?
No. I've tried.
Feta is like neutral testing though.
I've tried.
Actually, no, you're right though. Feta is a bit sour.
Feta is diverse. I will say I've tried a couple fetas that weren't as bad, I guess. And it's like, okay, I guess I could kind of deal with this. But if I can absolutely help it, I'll just not have feta. I don't know. Feta, like, you're gambling at that point. Like, at best, it doesn't add or take away anything from the dish. At worst, it ruins the dish. I'm not a big fan. Gorgonzola is right out. I don't like Gorgonzola or Asiago. It does not taste right to me.
I had a blue cheeseburger. Dang, I mean, but it was like for me, it didn't really overpower the
Really?
burger. It just had like this insane sharp flavor that when you're eating food and there's like that other half of the flavor that you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It's just like, I don't like, that's the reason why I don't like raw cheese. It just tastes weird. It tastes like if you take a piece of whiteboard chalk, coat it in wax and oil, and like bite onto it. That's how cheese would feel for me. I just don't like that it's waxy and it has this afterthought aftertaste of chalk. That's probably your first one.
I get what you're saying. Like, I can definitely see why you would make that comparison. And I will say that when the cheese is, like, a little bit, like, warmed up and it starts, like, melting, it almost kind of softens the flavor a bit. It helps it blend in with the other things.
Because if you melt cheese, there's the Maillard reaction. Because you're melting it, so it forms like this. You know, cheese has sugar, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Cheese has sugar in it. So you melt it. It tastes really good. That's fine. That's considered cooked by me. That's why I like melted cheese in my burger.
Gotcha.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. I also do think it's I do also think though it's possible to go too much that direction though. I don't like liquid cheese. So
like Cheese Whiz and stuff.
I hate Cheese Whiz. I hate nacho cheese, and I hate cheese fondue. Just no.
So you're more of a nacho guy with like with the salsa base and stuff. That's what you're trying to get at though.
A salsa bit? What?
No, like a nacho,
Like loaded nachos or something without cheese. You've had a loaded nacho?
Oh yeah, I've had loaded nachos. And I also don't mind like if you take like shredded cheese and like melt it a little bit. It's that gooey, like plasticky, like goopy
You don't like that?
cheese. No. I was
You don't-
never a fan of that. That's just I don't know. I think that's like
You don't
starting to
think
get
LeBron would
more
be-
into like processed territory though.
a lot of like stuff they use for American goods food, like ice and stuff are banned in Europe, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. You're
Yeah.
just like, you heard about the Red 40s
Oh, I've heard about it.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? That food dye that apparently, it's like Europe was like, yo, America, it's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
This is literally killing you. The thing with Europe and America, when it comes to food, the EU just cares.
Yeah.
If they can bend Apple to its knees to have USB Type-C, what else they could do?
Yeah.
Food regulation.
Yeah, I wish America cared more about that stuff because it's like I've definitely been hearing a bit more about like it's not just Red 40. Like there's more like information coming about on how like food dyes in general.
Your federal school programs literally have Lunchables, and it's been studied that Lunchables have lead in them.
Yeah,
Like we're talking like the toxic lead from toxic fumes.
I don't understand that. It's like how hard is it to like not include fucking lead in your food?
I thought a lot of people don't like the idea of like social programs though. It's like,
Yeah,
so you're fine with your country funding a military
with 18 aircraft carriers, but you draw at the line of like providing like a low-income family food because that's socialism for you.
I was about to say
Great.
50% of the country freaks the hell out when you say the word socialism. So you get a lot of resistance to like any social program, even though
You know
by
that episode with SpongeBob where like Patrick is like shown a photo of like SpongeBob by the police? It's like
Oh yeah. Wait, oh, was that the episode where he was a hall monitor?
yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? That meme is like it's like
Yeah. It's the maniac.
in Canada it's like it's accepted. We really are a mixed economy, socialist, something, insert this.
Yeah.
That. Man, the Cold War has really scared you guys.
It really has. Yeah.
You grew up in the 90s, did you? So you didn't have to experience what your parents had in the 70s.
The Cold War was pretty much over by that point. Yeah. I think it was like what, when did the USSR collapse? Was that
1993.
Yeah, so then yeah, I just missed that.
I missed it too by 7 years.
Yeah. No. I
Indian-
remember hearing and being taught about like the whole like you have to be prepared for mutually assured destruction, so like you duck and cover under your desk and shit. That's an interesting.
It never came though.
I never had to learn that. You know
never
what
had to
though?
learn.
I think we
What?
did have drills at one of my schools because we lived by like a nuclear power plant. So I think we did have like practice drills where it's like, okay, let's all go hide in like the school's basement or something because the nuclear apocalypse is coming or whatever. But to be fair, I think that's a little bit better than duck and cover.
But you think that because I grew up in the millennium, right? Like the 21st century.
Hmm.
It only took me until I was 16 years old to be like the start of the 21st century was rocky as hell.
Yeah.
My parents are on the CNN watching shit, and then you know what happens, right? In the past 2 decades, I was shielded from. I mean, I didn't know, and then like. But the best part about growing up in the year 21st century is that you're seeing technology evolve
Yeah.
At like a quadruple delay. Like a year before the iPhone got announced, people were still using like dumb phones, or at least like stylus phones. And
Yeah.
like the moment that the first iPhone debuts, it's like, holy crap!
Yeah, it's been
It's
such
such a shift in technology that
yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really interesting to see like how technology has like changed. Because like yeah, I mean shoot, I remember the first time I was ever on the internet, we still had the dial-up thing where it made like
oh
that.
god, though.
It was like that is such an iconic noise. Like you don't hear that anymore. I mean, you don't need to hear it anymore because everything's like all connected all the
One
time.
broadband fiber optics.
Yeah.
Exactly, though.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, the phones evolved. We got devices that can, like, always connect to the internet. And, like, God, smartphones and, like, phones that access the internet, such a game changer. Like, I feel like that puts so many, like, not really, like, businesses out of, like, service, but it completely changed our relationship with, like, how we access information. Like, I remember printing out pages whenever I would drive back and forth between my school and my parents' house. Just pages of, like, Google Maps on, like, okay, after 60 miles, exit here and get onto this road and stuff. And I had to constantly look down at it. Once I got a smartphone, Google Maps.
Oh, man.
Like that just solves everything.
And a lot of cars nowadays are just being built in with Google and Apple and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
line. It's not even like an expensive feature.
Yeah.
You just have what's that front of the car called? Like a help board or like a desk board of like a front, whatever, the panel.
Dashboard.
screen,
Yeah. Or
whatever.
I get
Dashboard,
what you're
thank
saying.
you.
Yeah.
A dashboard. My older brother cars has a dashboard that supports both OSs. It's like so cool.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to get higher on this tower, please.
The technology I grew up with being exposed to is computers, personal computers. I see graphics card getting stronger
Yeah.
every generation. We basically have gaming graphics card that can do real-time ray tracing and AI.
Yeah.
You remember when graphics card used to be like flimsy, like expansion cards
Oh, yeah.
growing? And you look at your current graphics card, it's like, holy crap.
It's like a
a
giant
four-
machine.
like a
you
30,
stick-
a 4070,
Yeah.
that thick.
It literally is. It's just a computer though that can do parallel processing.
Yep. There we go.
You think if you find life forms in space, you think they're gonna have the same computing system like you know, do they have like an alien equivalent of computer? What do you
I'm
think?
trying to imagine if aliens would have, like, binary systems. Like, would they...
It's-
Okay, so here's the cool thing about, like, why we even do, like, binary systems and stuff like that. Like, Alan Turing wrote the original paper on the theory of computation, right?
Yep.
And his paper basically showed that you can create an incredibly simple device called a Turing machine, which basically is, which can execute pretty much any program simply by, like, writing data into, like, bits, essentially. Like, writing a 0 or a 1 in a register. And he also proved that any computer we design can be reduced into a Turing machine that is paper-bound. So, and that holds true for literally every computer we've come up with. Maybe not quantum. Quantum is, like, fucked up. But every single classical computer we've used from then until now still maintains that idea. It can be reduced to a Turing machine. It's just going to be a really long and complex Turing machine. So I'm just wondering if aliens would have also discovered that binary would be the best way for them to encode data, and then they could build whatever computer, whatever complexity. Or maybe they figured out how to do quantum computers easily, and that they just went straight to that.
And you're talking, and then we're going back to the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
Like I said, a computer, let's say they have the computer and the telescope technology to see us currently in time. You know how light years is a lot of time?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you say, I know I keep repeating this because I'm interested, right? If they're seeing us right now, they know that we don't have huge access to a big quantum computer. Why are they scared, though? That's what I'm saying. What is their word they're scared of? Is it because that we're ingenious? If you're gonna say, oh, they overtaken a planet and they terraformed it, but you would say the same thing to an alien. You ask them how you guys took over this planet and what's the history.
Yeah, I don't know why they would be scared, honestly. It's like, because I feel like and I think I said this earlier, right? Any civilization that has the ability to, like, look at us as we are now from any distance in the observable universe probably has technology that's better than ours, I would think, because we can't even look at. We could point a telescope. We could point the James Webb. We could point the James Webb at any random direction, and we could see anywhere in the universe we want. But we're just seeing a projection of how it looked years ago, because we can't see past what the speed of light will allow us to see. Like that's a big limitation of us using these, like, microscopes and stuff, or telescopes and stuff. Shoot. Hang on. Oh. Hang on 1 second, Zeph.
Take your time. I'll be right back too.
Alright, I'm back. Let's see. Hope all of you out there on stream are having a good night. Enjoying our random conversations here. I have gone through this chapel so many times. I do think I'm getting closer, though. I got farther up that tower than I have before. Okay. I am most likely just gonna play for probably another 15-20 minutes or so. It's not, like, super late where I'm at right now, but I'm also, like, super tired just because I was telling Zaf I worked out for the first time in a while earlier today and was just exhausted by the end of it.
Brad, yo.
Yo,
I just
yo.
had a realization, right?
What's up?
Yeah, the Fermi paradox started as a conversation with two physicists, and they're like, "Yo, if life comes so easy, how come nobody has been calling us, right?"
Yep.
Like, it's trying to imply that if we're the only one here, then are we truly out here alone? Or it's more like there has to be life there. There's planets that could support life.
Yeah.
Like, why is Earth the only one that went through the creation of the universe being a molten rock, and apparently some bacteria just appeared?
Yeah.
That would happen in other planets too. We just don't know because we can't travel to other planets.
Yep.
Yet. What's trying to cook that?
I am very I mean I'm a
Also-
firm believer that life is out there.
Also, even if aliens could have faster than the light travel, right? I know I use Helldivers 2 a lot as an example, but they have that technology.
Yeah.
That would be a problem because, like, you know, when you travel from planet to planet, because space is light years distance, right? It takes forever
Yeah.
to go anywhere. So what you're saying is that by the time they reach Earth with FTL and they come back to home, their home planet would have been different, I think,
Yes.
right? Because time travels. Like,
Yep.
time slows down when you travel faster.
Yep. Time dilation. Mm-hmm.
So if I go back to Helldivers, let's say you call me to fight the robots, right? On a different star system.
Yeah.
So if I FTL from Earth to the planet that I'm helping them out, by the time I come back to Earth, then Earth would have not existed, right?
The Earth will be
Or
much
would it
older.
been-
Yeah. It does
Is that
depend.
like-
It does depend on how far away you're going. Right. Like.
Is there a way to, like, completely remove time dilation? No, because that's how the universe works.
I don't think so. Wormholes. That'd be the only way.
By that. Or tachyon particles. I'm trying to cook. I'm trying to start a stove here. It's like,
Oh,
like,
you just walked right
if you're saying that to me, if aliens can travel to us and they report back to their planet, wouldn't their planet be gone by then? I'm assuming
possibly, yeah. If all they're doing is traveling with like FTL.
Up.
I'm cooking.
But bro, help me cook out here, bro. I'm mad cooking you. Yeah, Mr. White.
Zaf,
Are you cooking?
we did it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
You're at the top. Yeah.
we did. Oh my god. All right.
Yeah, congratulations though.
Oh, hell yeah. I knew I was close, I just
Getting it?
wasn't sure if I was actually going to complete it this playthrough or not.
Yippee.
Okay. Hell yeah.
That took you like 2 months to beat.
Yeah, give or take. I think it took me 10 streams or so to complete.
I mean, you were playing and having fun, so
Yeah.
you had.
This was a very enjoyable game. Definitely a little bit tedious that first couple sections. But yeah, I got to the swing of things.
Guys, be fun. That'd be awesome. Happily ever after for your king.
Yep, I'm flying with her as an umbrella, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the gravity got reversed. Okay, we don't have the magnetic core anymore.
It's like that's actually I think the end of getting over it. Is like your last jump you just start flying up into the sky.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, now I have a reason to start the second one. Might take a little bit of a break from Jump King, but yeah, look at that.
What do you mean a second one?
There's
Okay,
you know,
okay.
there's multiple like expansions for Jump King, right?
What? So you had to do the same thing all
Yep.
over again?
You get a different Smoke and Hot Babe at the end of it, though.
Oh, well, I'll tell that babe to come to me instead.
Yeah, why doesn't the babe climb down? It'd be a lot easier if she did. Alright. New game. Completed on attempt 1. Blah, blah. Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start a new game now, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. Go ahead and just quit here. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed that. I knew going into it that it was going to be a little bit more of like a rage kind of game. But no, I was pleasantly surprised by how fun the game was. The mechanics are incredibly simple, and I feel like there's more I feel like there's a lot more unforgiving games. Like I feel like getting over it is really unforgiving. This one wasn't too
Yeah,
bad.
but the thing with getting over it is that they have pathways that like you can drag onto this like slide. It just goes back, make you go back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
That's straight up mean though. In Jump King, if you miss your jump, that's on you. Good job though.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Thank you. No, I'm very happy with how this gameplay went. And you know what? Like I said, I think it was about 10 streams. I'll get the actual count sometime later. But yeah, this was very nice. I don't know if you were here when I said it, Zaf. I think I'm probably gonna call my stream at this point. I mean,
Okay.
now that I beat Jump King, I feel like there's not really much else for me to do here.
Yeah, that's fine by me. That was really fun just accompanying you and stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate having you here.
Oh yeah, you're always welcome, man.
Yeah.
Go check out Rad, guys. They have a Twitter and they have a YouTube. They make music, really awesome music, guys. Go check them out.
And also check out Zaf Reacts, the
Whoa.
smelly fish tuber here that's been
I'm
chatting with me.
I'm not smelly, Mr. White.
You're
Yo,
pretty
Mr.
smelly.
White, I'm named.
Yeah. So, yeah, go
Thanks
check
for
them
that.
out. They're awesome. They play Monster Hunter, they play Project Zomboid, they play Minecraft, they play Stardew, they play it all, you know.
Yeah. I play Girl Boss games, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to stream again this week. I'll probably stream a little bit next week. Hopefully I'll have a schedule in place, but yeah, it was great chatting with you, Zaf. I think I'll go ahead and probably end this call so I can raid out.
Yep, you have a good night. You
Yeah.
have a good sleep too, eh?
Yeah, you too.
See you
Zaf.
around.
Yeah, have a good night, Zaf. Talk to you later.
Awesome. Yep, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Hope you all enjoyed this, enjoyed listening to us chatting back and forth here. And yeah, have a great rest of your night. Let's go ahead and see who is streaming right now so we can raid them. Oh, I want to raid Terraberry, but I don't know how much longer she's going to go for. It doesn't look like she's going to end anytime soon. Let's just go ahead and raid her.